Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I hope this will be some good, insights for you to help you with your trading and also some of the things that I've realized also, when trading that these are some of the things to pay attention to, especially when you're using ICC or trading price action or market structure, So as a day trader, I had to, eliminate a few three things for me to say, look, this is what will work best for me, and hopefully, based on what I say today, can be of great benefit to you. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and then switch on the notifications for more future videos. All right, thank you. All right, so as we all know that when it comes to ICC, we then have the indication. We have the indication. We have the correction, and then we have the continuation, right? So all in all, these three they play a very big role in terms of trading ICC, especially the indication and the correction, right? So the continuation comes then in the later stage. For instance, let's say we are in an uptrend, right? We are in an uptrend, and this is what's currently happening, right? So, with that being said, the market keeps on giving us indication by breaking the highs, right? Keeps on giving us indication by breaking the highs. So how do we take or how do we enter positions based on what is currently happening? So what you wanna do is you wanna be part of, you know, the after the correction has been done, because the correction will be like this on a 15-minute chart or a 5-minute chart coming down to these levels, right? So all in all, this is a trend on its own, right? So that trend will get broken. And then once that trend is broken, you have probably a higher high and then a higher low. That's where you want to be. You want to enter based of that, aiming on this indication that happened and then aiming to the upside. You can even aim here. Probably most of the time is usually 1:3, risk to reward ratio. So you want to be aiming there, and probably your entry will come in as like this, usually, yeah. So your intro will come in like that, right there, right? So that's what usually happens when you trading the the ICC. Same thing if the market decides that it will go down, right? We have a downtrend, right? We have a downtrend like this, right? The chart has to always break the lows to show that it's still in a downtrend. It has to continue breaking the lows. So your entries will also come from these levels where the breakout happened the first time, because the market will have to come correct, probably back there. And I highly, in terms of trading ICC, I highly recommend it comes and correct into, this high. And then it is much easier for you to take trades based on what's currently happening, once the market has reached that point. So it's much easier for you to take trades there, because even if it comes here, it's still valid. Your trade will come from this break. Whenever you break above it, you can take trades from wherever, you understand, under this, right? So now I want us to also talk time frames, right? Because I'm gonna show you the most important part of it, the time frames, right? The indication, the indication where you wanna be before we jump into the indication, uh, time frames, the time frames that I've realized they work the best is the 1 hour to get a trend, right? And obviously 30 minutes to mark, you know, support and resistance, support and resistance levels, right? These basically are your breaking points where your chart broke out of, to make that indication at the top there, and probably where, the correction is at, or the way the correction might, you know um, um go back to, all those kind of things. And those are the things that, so support and resistance, that's probably where the price was bouncing back off. For instance, let's do something like this, right? You have the chart coming down, creates a low, creates a high, gives an indication that you want to sell to the downside, comes back and corrects back into a trend, right? And when you correct back into the trend, like I said, you're gonna take trades based off this, right? So now this is your support here. This is your support, right? So probably there might be some sort of, based on the how the chart has been, there might be some sort of even a resistance level at this point. But you wanna be in where the chart has shown that it can sell, you know. So your first entry will definitely come from this point, because now we are below support, right? We are below where the price broke, was which was this point here, which was this point here, right? So we are below that. You want to be able to be taking trades there, because we are below there. We are below the support, right? So that's how you will be doing. And probably a second entry might even come from here. The second entry might even come from here, and aiming the next swing point where where the trend was bullish, right? So yeah, that's pretty much most of the things. But we're gonna get right into it, right? So, and then, as I was saying, now you also wanna use the 15 minute, or a 5 minute chart. And let me say this, and 1 minute chart for entries. I'll tell you why, right? Because, well, in most cases, this is what will happen, right? You had the break, you have the low, you had the high, you had the lower low, you had the correction. Now the chart breaks below this level of support here, right? The chart breaks below this level of support. And on 15-minute chart, you expect to get at least, a break, a retest, and continuation, right? Because that is a level of support. But that is not happening. That is not what's currently happening. This is what the chart is giving you. It's not giving you a clear entry. Instead, what is currently happening is the chart actually just shut down without giving you a clear entry. You go to 5 minutes, you get maybe a rejection, a kind of a doji candlestick, and then the market should choose down. So it didn't give you a proper entry. You then go to 1 minute. That's when you get to see that clear retest there. You get to see that clear test, and that could have been your entry. You understand? So hence I'm including the 1 minute also for entries. So it works well. I've seen it works well. So I want us to now be able to jump on the chart so you can see it for yourself, right? So this is a 1 minute chart. This is the trade that I'm currently in. Australian dollar, Canadian dollar, AUD CAD. So I'm currently in this trade. So as you can see now, I said 1 hour, right? Because you are currently day trading. Sorry about that, guys. Because you are currently day trading, you wanna be in what's currently happening, right? So this is what's been currently happening. You have these lows, you have this highs, all of that, right? But you wanna be in the current state of what's currently happening, right? So you had this chart come create a low, create a high, a low, a high, broke below this, to create another lower low, and then create a high. Now broke below this also, now to create another lower low. And then obviously when you break it down, obviously it will be lows and highs, lows and highs. It will be endless of them. So you mark off where price has been bouncing off the most. Price bounced off this level, right? To break down and sell to give this indication, right? So you know that, okay, price broke off this level, it shows that anything below this level will be bearish. Same thing here, anything below this level will be bearish, because now we have this indication that price can sell on the downside. So anything below this would be bearish, right? So now you want to go to M30. That's when maybe you can draw your levels of support and resistance. Now this was a support, but because is below this, now it becomes a resistance. Now we have another support on the below this, as you can see, and now we have that, and we're gonna be currently be focusing um, here, because now, as you can see, price is below this level of support, right? And if you go down to 15 minutes, then you get to see what I meant, that you won't even get a clear entry sometimes when it comes to 15 minutes, right? Let's take uh let's take probably, let's see. Yeah, let's take this. Price broke below, came back, corrected to the upside. 15 minute just started rejecting. It could have easily went up again, but then boom, you say it shot to the downside, gave another indication to the downside. You go to 5 minute. There's not even, 5 minutes, there was a clear entry. As you can see, there was a kind of a level of, what do you call, level of support that was there. So this will keep being an indication of 5 minutes, and then got an entry based off that. And you could have took a short here. And your stop loss could have just been right above this consolidation, and then you aiming for this, and like I said, it's usually maybe 1:3. This was 1:4, and then you could have held, probably, I don't know, till the next swing point, right? So same thing happening here now. As you can see now, the thing that I mentioned, that now sometimes you need 1 minute. So as you can see, we had the indication to say that the market, once is below this price, the market has an ability to sell below this price, right? But now the market corrected, went up to correct, gave us a rejection candlestick. This wasn't, you know this wasn't assuring enough for us to say we're gonna enter sales based off here. Now you don't have any more information. What could have one done is, you could have said, okay, I see there's a low here around this area, and I will take my position from here. My stop loss will just be around here, and then I'll be aiming just maybe below this, or maybe I'll be aiming at these lows, right? That's a good 1:3 trade, right? 1:3 trade, right? It still works fine. It still works, but let's go to 1 minute now. As you can see on 1 minute, the thing that I said on 1 minute. And remember, whenever the market is in a trend, or the chart is in a trend, it cannot break the trend unless if it's changing the direction, right? So now on 1 minute, as you can see, we had this push to the upside, this nice push to the upside. They had a low, where the higher high, higher low, where the higher high, and then the market came, created equal highs, and then created a lower high, right? And then broke below this, right? It broke below this, and as you can see, started creating, lower lows and lower highs on 1 minute, right? So for me, based on what I see here on 1 minute, because I know that, or I already know that anything below this would be bearish, and it can still sell the same way it sold like this and it sold like that, So what I would want to do is, I would want to say, okay, anything below that is bearish. So for what would be the safest way for me to enter? Right. I take this. There's a higher high, higher high, higher high, and then equal, equal lows here on a 1 minute chart, right? Equal lows on 1 minute chart. I would have taken these price as my entry point. Once the chart comes back to break below, and then price comes back and retest that level, that would have been my entry price, and then my stop loss would have just been above this level. And as you can see, that's a good 1:6 trade, right? I'm risking $100 to make $600, right? So already you can see, and based on how how this works, that's pretty much it. Whether you're trading gold, whether you're trading anything, so you want to be always be mindful of the time frames that you are in, right? The time frame that you're gonna be taking those entries, and all of that. So as you can see, the market, I mean, I'm already the price is already, I think, let me see. Yeah, I'm already in 1:2 um profit, but I'll let it ride along and see what actually happens, right? So we can also move to another market. Let's move to, let's see, the likes of, let's do Nasdaq, right? Some of the entries were for yesterday, and then that's when I started to realize, right? So let's do Nasdaq, right? So as you can see, we have a 1 hour, right? 1 hour in a 1 hour chart, right? So the chart started to move to the upside, giving us those, those higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher high, lower low, higher high, higher low, lower high, lower low, lower high, all of those things, and it's starting to show that, it might be bearish and giving us those lower lows, right? That is what's currently happening, right? So as you can see, we have that, and then you can then move to the M30, because we're not really getting much levels to, make our support and resistance, right? So yeah, it's a bit choppy. Yeah, this one is a bit choppy. Uh, yeah, I wanna get clear direction, right? Yeah, let's analyze trade gold. Let me not to take this one. Let me take this one. Yeah. So even yesterday's entry, which by the way we lost the trade, but this is something that had me to go back to the drawing board, and I was like, hey, how did I miss everything? How what made me lose the trade, right? So back to 1 hour. We start with an hour, 1 hour for our top down analysis, because we're trading for the day. 4 hour is good, but 4 hour is gonna be giving its own thing. Now, as you can see in the 4 hour, somehow we haven't broke this low, and this was the initial push to the upside. So it's been, kind of, making things complicated for me. So I don't want any of those things to be complicated for me, right? So I'm gonna start with 1 hour, giving us those lows and highs, and you having everything, lows and highs and everything, right? So yesterday we were just here, around here with everything, right? So we can say, okay, this was a low before this was a low before market gave this indication to the downside that below this level the market gets probability to sell. It can sell below this level, right? And this was the other indication to say, okay, below this market can sell, right? This was a lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, equal high, it would this equal highs. You understand? So that is what was currently happening, right? So go for M30. Now we know, okay, like I said, these were equal highs, these were equal highs, right? These were equal highs, right? So we have that, we have this showed us, like I said, we have a lower low, we have a lower low below this, and then we also have a lower low here, right? So now the market gave us all of this yesterday. Don't move, don't worry about this part. We're gonna focus on the sell of yesterday, how it actually came about, right? So then we go to 15 minute, as you can see on 15 minute, and we know that anything below this would be a sell because the first indication to create this lower high came from this, that we are bearish, right? We are bearish on 1 hour, we are bearish on 30 minutes, we are bearish on 15 minutes, right? So you're gonna be focusing on that, right? So anything below this would be bearish, and then anything below this will also be bearish, right? Market has given us indication, multiple indications with correcting and then continue to give us another indication and then also correct, so market, once the market breaks below this would definitely be a sell. But now look at 15 minutes, there's no entry here. You can assume, because where would be your stop loss? You can assume to say I'm just gonna take an entry because the market can easily go back up, right? Go to 5 minute chart, go to 5 minute chart. I spoke about this earlier, that you just see kind of a reaction, a rejection or a doji candlestick kind of happening at that area, but it's not also reassuring, right? You could have, market could have easily went back up, as much as you know that anything below that could have been a sell, or but the market could have easily went up. Now you want to get a clear snapper entry. This is something that I've been working on, like I said, um a clear entry. And as you can see, now we have something, because now we had this break, in some sort of break, below this low, this kind of thing, or whatever is happening here. This kind of support, this kind of consolidation. There was a kind of a consolidation on the support, on this 1 minute chart. There was a consolidation. The market broke below this. It gave us a lower low, a lower high, and then a lower low. And then with this lower high, my entry would have came just here. My entry would have came just here. You know why? This would have been my stop loss. Just above this would have been my stop loss, because now anything below this would have been a trade. Would have been sales, right? So now I can say, okay, I'm gonna take this low. This low's here. In the 1 minute, this would be my entry point, and anything above this would be, my stop loss. So this would be my trade that I would have taken, right? And as you can see, if you aiming, then would have aimed for this second indication, right? And now you can go back to 15 minutes and say, look, on 15 minute, yep, a good 1:5 trade, a good 1:5. You see, I think there's something around 1:4. Yeah, there's a good 1:4, right? There you got a trade. You got a trade on a 1 minute chart, right? Yeah, pretty much. So that's how you want to be applying it, when it comes to trading, because that's how it will always go about, so ICC, remember, um 1 hour, probably to get your highs and lows and your direction or your trend, and swing lows and swing points, and swing highs and lows. Then 30 minutes to get that, support and resistance level. And then yeah, 15 minute, 15 minute, 15 minute, 5 minute, and 1 minute for entries. For entries. Yeah. And this entry, just to give you a context, this was a swing low, this was a swing point. Anything below that would be sales. Based off this was also a swing point. Anything below this would also be sales. Same thing. Another entry would have came here, If we go right into it, I can show you. I think let's go to 5 minute. Something, also 5 minutes not showing anything below this because now that's another swing point, right? In 5 minutes, the 5 minutes not showing, but let's go to 1 minute. You get to realize that 1 minute actually gave an entry there, another one. Yeah, it gave a doji candlestick, kind of a doji candlestick below, up here, and because you know that you're already in sales at the top, could have probably said, okay, this rejection here, I might take this rejection, stop loss just here at the top, and then aim for this. An easy one is to three. An easily one is to three trade. That's how it is. An easy one is to three. Now you have that the one is to four happening, plus this one is to three happening. So overall, you're risking $100. That's $700, right? But that's what we would have done, but we didn't. It didn't happen, unfortunately. But we learn. We learn. That's the best part. We learn, right? We learn. All right. Thank you guys. If you need probably some more explanation, I'm dropping videos like this on a daily before I take some trades just to give context on the trade. I drop them on the free community channel, Telegram channel. You can join the channel and then and also don't forget to like and subscribe the video if you enjoyed. Thank you very much, guys. Bye.